You're trapped in the death. And then she is the she is the goddess of reincarnation. She's the goddess of reincarnation. The natural cycle of born or birth, death and reborn. Hello and welcome on today's episode. Today's episode will be talking about the Greek mythology. We'll dwell on one of the most popular character of today's time. Not just because of a hair that it's entertained with a snake dreads type, but what is it that really represents the snake and the dreads? Is it the Rastafarian movement? Is it the people who can be able to plait the dreads? But stay tuned to find out who is she. What does she really represent? She is the most iconic, popular character, or the most popular priestess of today's generation, and she have always been the best generation accredited character who is of the priestess Medusa. Who is she? Who is Medusa? The name of Medusa and herself, as she's the woman, not just because of today's generation who we admire the reptilian characters, who also she was being cast. She came to be cast and have the skin of a reptilian, the hair of a snake. But who did that to her? What happened to her? What really happened that causes that event for her to be turned that way? Because she have been one of the most beautiful ever created ego, or the perception, or the physical beauty, the creativity. Who make her to be turned into a most horrific character that when you look at her, you turn into the stone. It's connected with one of the most popular mythology from the Bible, from the Jerusalem, from the Promised Land, where people were going to the Promised Land, and then they look backwards in time, and then they turn into sculpture. The same mythology as a Medusa, after she had been turned, which is a part of why did she get turned to become a character of that way. Medusa, she have a sister. There were three of them. They're known as the gorgonians. Gorgo, Gorgo in an African language. From the southern Africa, we talk about the old people. When you talk about the Gorgo, that's Gorgo. It's old people that you give to the female. What does this have to connect with the African people? I call my grandma, she's a Gorgo, that's her name, a Gorgo. They are gorgonians. These are the most rare creatures that have always been known. This Medusa have other two, but only her share was the mortal. All those were immortal. So they were immortal. The mortal of her cast there. There was a day where Medusa, she was in a temple of Athena. And Athena, she's the person or character who cast there too, from her beauty to this character that is of the malicious. So inside that temple, as we know, Medusa have been a priestess, one of the three wings angels. We know when we talk about the wings that is identified with the character of a human, we know them as an angel. So these three gorgonians, they also was the wing character of a person. So they were trusted as the priestess, and Medusa, by the way, she's the goddess of war. She's the goddess of the wisdom, and she also the goddess of other characteristics. And inside these temples of Athena, there will come a day where Poseidon, the goddess of the sea, came at this temple, and the scriptures talk about she got raped. They raped her, and she lost that immaculity. And what does it mean for the goddess of wisdom come to the goddess of being cursed? Where Athena figured out that she was raped inside the temple, and then Athena, she is the goddess of the virgin. So at this time where Athena cursed, figure out this truth that Medusa was raped by the god of the sea, who is Poseidon. They cursed her. She cursed her to become, not to be looked again. When you look at her, you don't see that beauty. That beauty of her came to be a curse. And then the curse said that everybody who sees the face, that beauty, turn into sand. They just died and become a sand. And then in this part, there is a hero that came, Perseus, who came and cut the head of Medusa. But because she's the mortal, she don't die. That day save the nation. Is she really good or is she really bad? This is one of the most confusing characters, because she was in her own island where Perseus came into the island, and that's where they cut her head off. But the most interesting thing with this, the story of Medusa, and how she was really, how all this connected to this, the story of the Catholic. Catholic, by the way, it means the universal, all in one. These are the Catholic people that worship Pope. They believe and they have this story, as much as the Romans. They have this story about the promised land, where there was a group of people that told to go to the promised land and not to look at the backwards, not look at the back way. As much as when you look at the back way, it turned into the stone. What is it? What Medusa really mean in Catholic Church? She is the representation of a time where you get stuck in time. You're really trapped on it, and you just tend to be a sand. So about the Medusa, there a time where they cut off her head, because her head it have a snake. And by the way, why the snake? What does the snake really represent? And not, which we're gonna talk about, why, as she was cursed, as she's the goddess of the natural life cycle, which is rebirth, which is the birth, rebirth, and death, rebirth. So she's the goddess of the natural cycle of life, which is represented by her skin, which is of a reptilian skin. We see a snake. We're talking about Kundalini. A snake, it also have the wisdom of death, coming from birth, death, and rebirth. Which is, what does this have to do with the resurrection of the Jesus Messiah who lived, death, and rebirth? What does this have to connect? All this because Medusa, she is the goddess of the natural birth cycle. Her skin, when she was cast, it tended to be a reptilian skin. Her hair, it was of a snake. The wisdom of a snake we see all over, on our emblems, symbols, on the main spinal cord symbol, all over the chakra, you study them, all over the symbol of Caduce, it's right there on your face. What does the snake mean? The snake was cast looking at the baby. The baby have to come to the crawl and sit before they stand up and walk. But the process of the snake, what really can happen if they were going further to stand up and walk, but they are trapped on the crawling. So the point that I'm saying here, what's the secret and the symbol of a snake? That is have to be with the life, which is the birth, the death, which is of immortal, and the rebirth, which is the time where the Medusa's head were cut. Perseus go and save the nation, where they have to go and sacrifice the priestess. So Perseus, the god, all these people, they are sons of Zeus. So they were awakened monster that they have been brought to earth to come and take all those malicious, and the sacrifice can be brought by sacrificing the priestess of the nation. By the time where they were sacrificing the priestess, Perseus come with the head of Medusa after cutting it, and then he did what he did in the physical, try to save the world and become a hero. And then by the time when he took that, cut it off, that's why we say she's the mortal. Her head also have that power where the beast will look on the face, on the eyes of Medusa, even though the head was cutting from the body. The monsters turn into what? Into sand, into stone too. What does the story of Medusa tell you? From the Christian perspective, they already tell you, don't be stuck in time. Don't be stuck on your ego. The more you stuck on your ego, the more you stuck on your past and not look forward on the promised land, which you're not looking, becoming in the present and focused on the perpetual or the dwelling in the present, the more you are being stuck, you'll be dying. You're trapped in the death. And then she is the goddess of reincarnation. She's the goddess of reincarnation, the natural cycle of born or birth, death, and reborn. That's the reincarnation that happened to Jesus Christ. And the interesting thing, why are they so attached to the mortal? What are they trying to save? Is she really good, or she's trying to teach people not to be stuck in time? Those who are stuck in time, they are trapped on the concept, which is very, very interesting concept of an evolution. They're gonna be swallowed. The earth is gonna swallow them, and that's the end till they find other body to restart over the whole process. So this is the interesting concept about the hair being the goddess of reincarnation. The reptilian skin, the ones who rule the earth. I hope you get some information about this video. Please subscribe and support the channel. Have a beautiful day. Have a lovely life. Thank you.